Yeah, because I know for some reason my voice, like, I guess how low it is, it doesn't pick up very well. Old people hate me because they can't hear me. I'm on
This
that
makes sense.
I'm on that magic frequency. Also, I hope you don't care, but I've got your camera centered on Coco.
No, that is perfectly fine. Honestly, probably better. Until she leaves. Oh, she's gonna fuck with the picture frame. Oh, she likes to fight it sometimes. My survivor main is Nancy. Though I do fuck around with Kate and Ace a lot. I love Ace. I want to be a Nancy slash Ace main, but I gotta get him to that P3. Welcome, Wobble. She did. She's currently licking up the crumbs of the catnip. So, or she's cleaning her tail, one or the other. Oh my gosh. Okay, she's half Sphinx, right? If you guys don't know this about Sphinxes, they are the greasiest cats ever in the world. They are just always covered in grease and goop. And it's because they don't have hair to absorb any of like the oils off of their skin. But they also have this issue where they'll get like oil buildup underneath their nails that you have to pull out. She doesn't, thank goodness. But she does have two other issues that Sphinx cats have, and that is eye boogers every 20 minutes
Mm.
and just tons of earwax. And this morning, like we always have to clean the eye boogers off of her, like she's some like gross crusty Yorkie. And this morning, she had one that was still like it was crusty on top but gooey on the bottom, and I was
Oh
like, ugh.
no.
Like I took the cleaners to her face to like get it, and it was just like string, and I was like, no. Man,
Bahamut
cats.
Bahamut gets eye boogers, but he won't let me get them.
You
Like we have
won't?
it's a whole thing. We have to like restrain him to get them off.
Oh gosh. No, she's fine with it. She's just like, okay.
It's like
But
I'm
she's
pretty
nasty.
I'm pretty
The
sure
cat
Balrog would let me do anything to him, but
Lukey.
Bahamut's very persnickety.
Lukey says the Cadbury caramel of eye boogers.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Never gonna have a Cadbury egg ever again in my life. Oh, another Nancy main. Welcome. I love Nancy. I love her new outfit. It's so nice.
It's so much better than the scary one that you keep using. I'm so happy that you have a new favorite costume for her.
I still love the scary outfit. So you can fight me on it. I love that hair. Other people are starting to, I'm seeing other people use it a lot. Everybody's like, I love this hair. It's so cute. And I'm like, isn't it? It's the outfit that I'm currently wearing plus that hair is apparently called Bush Nancy. And it's basically like,
Bush Nancy.
yeah, it's the immersive version. You can just go hide in one of the dead dog bushes with that sweater and hair.
Also,
Yep.
making sure I've got your stream opened up.
Pretty sure I have yours. Let me double check. I do.
Just
I'm all good.
threw some toilet deaths in there. Here you go.
Yay! Thank you for the videos.
Enjoy your toilet death.
Love toilet death. Speaking of toilet death,
Yeah,
are we ready to get started?
I think so.
What an excellent segue emoji.
If only we had like an option on our boards just to hit a button and there's just a flush animation that goes and moves to the next screen.
Just full swirl. Like the Batman symbol.
Yes.
The toilet. And you just hear
We should get it like synced to each survivor's scream so then when we actually get the toilet death, just hit the button and it's just flush.
So Resident Evil 8, Wobble, I do not plan to play it ever. Zen, do you plan on playing and streaming Resident Evil 8 anytime soon?
I'm probably not going to stream it. I finally got to the point where I'm like, I'm going to start playing games outside of streaming that are not DBD. So,
Okay.
because I've been sitting on Death Stranding and I'm finally playing it.
All right. So, Wobble, please go enjoy someone else watching it. Unfortunately, will not be either of us. But when Sons of the Forest come out,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are going to stream that
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The Forest is where we got. No, actually, the Borderlands I think is where we like our one of our first streams ever.
Yeah, the forest
So,
is where I actually started getting people watching. Like that's how I got affiliate
yeah.
was through the forest.
Yeah, it was.
Cause like I was
I
getting
love the
like nine
Forest.
or 10 people watching me at a time for the first time ever, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And Borderlands, it's like, okay, it's literally me, myself, and I in here. But but that's also why you got your computer, because we wanted to finish Borderlands, and you're like, guys, I just don't think we can do it. And Alex is like, we have to do this.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta turn off a thing in Stream Elements before we get started. I didn't even think to check my timers. Uh, there we go. All right. Just watch someone play it and stick Dino and Zen's face over there. Welcome to the Dead Talk Artist. If you're gonna just play a graphic intensive game with me, I will do. Honestly, Dead by Daylight's getting there. It's making my computer crash sometimes. Um. All right, so welcome to our Dead Talk.
Mm-hmm.
This week's episode, Hagatha.
Yes,
It's my turn to recap, right?
it is.
Beautiful. So let me just start off with I don't know if this takes place in modern day or the 16 fucking hundreds. Pretty sure definitely not the latter. Um I was talking about it in like two parts. The first one is when you actually like pull her up as a character and read her lore. It talks about how she is from like a small village and there's elders who believe in a lot of like the superstitious stuff and they taught her like luck and protective charms and everything. And she kind of just like grew up around all of that and taught very much to like respect like those powers of whatever it is. And that's why when you play against tag, she does little traps. That's one of those symbols.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I believe is like the protection one, but I forget where I read that. And anyway, so she kind of grew up in that environment around all of that stuff. And one day she's walking home, and it's pouring rain, and she ends up like going through a swamp. She slips, hits her head on a rock, and goes unconscious. She starts slipping in and out of unconsciousness, and she starts to see like shadowy figures encroaching on her. And they drag her away. And when she actually becomes fully conscious and wakes up, she is trapped in a cellar with a bunch of other people who have had parts of like their body just flayed off of them. Everybody's pretty much sickly, dying, infected, and she's trapped down there with them. And so I don't know how long she was there. It didn't really specify for how long, but while she was being held captive, she was essentially what's the word? Put under the same torture as them. She was flayed by the people who were keeping all of them captive, which turned out to be cannibals. They were eating all of the people that they had captured, and she didn't get fed. She was basically starving to death. She was suffering from infections. Eventually, she became so emaciated that her wrists, the shackles no longer that she's being held in, no longer contained her wrists, and she was able to just like rip her arm out. And when I say rip, I mean literally. It tore flesh and muscle off of her hand doing so. But she got free, and when she got free, hold on, I'm trying to remember how the order of sequence. I think she actually like heard the voice of the entity first. when she was freed. And that led her to killing her captors and inflicting essentially the same punishment on them by eating them and cannibalizing them the way they had done her and all the others. And at some point, she had etched some of the symbols that she had learned from her elders into the mud of the cellar, and everybody that had captured her got killed by her, partially eaten. And then this entire time, there had been a search party that was looking for her. They found this little shack in the swamp that had the cellar. When they went down there, they found the corpses of all of the other victims that were being held, the bodies of the people who were, which I don't know if they knew this or not, but the people, like her captors or whatever. They also saw the symbols that they obviously recognized because they were from the same village, but there was no sign of her. I didn't even say her name, Lisa Sherwood.
Yeah.
um, no sign of Lisa anywhere. So, and she was gone, and as we know, into the fog. Now the other part that kind of confused me, because when I read that, I was just like, oh, it's kind of like it could be like 1800s-ish. I could see like a small village still like believing in a lot of the spiritualism stuff like that. Kind of in that time frame, but when you go into the actual tomes, it makes it seem much more modern
Mm-hmm.
because she while she grew up around this stuff, the tomes make it out that she didn't wholly believe in it. And so she etched like a luck charm onto her textbook. I think it was math. And her grandmother warned her about that. Like, you don't mess around with that stuff. And she was just like, okay, Gran. Sure. Um, Ira, thank you for the lurk. So, yeah, so she did that, and then she ended up passing her test. And then she has this friend, I guess. This other girl who she spends time with. I don't even want to call her a friend. She was kind of shitty person. Pam.
Pam.
But uh you know what? I feel like we've all had a shitty friend in our time who's just questionable decision making and doesn't respect our things. So Pam was like, hey, show me those symbols. I want good luck on my English test. And at that point, even though Lisa didn't really believe in the stuff beforehand, she was just like, you know what, actually? Like, she was kind of believing a little bit. And she was like, you really shouldn't, like, mess with stuff, especially if you don't know what it is. And then Pam was like, yeah, whatever. And had apparently seen some of the symbols that Lisa's used, I guess, in the past, and started etching them on her own uh, textbook. And so when she did well, she was just like, oh yeah, it's this shit. So Pam started getting really into Lisa's village culture of these charms and hexes and stuff. Um, Another shitty thing about Pam was she hated one of her teachers. She made fun of him constantly, considered him very vile, and he ended up dying, I think, instead of a heart attack suddenly. And while the students were all at the funeral, Pam was there, kind of making fun of him, and Lisa heard, or like she kept like getting some weird vision of Pam being struck by lightning, and just like these voices or urge to just like step away from Pam, like just take a few inches a step away. And so there was like a storm coming in, and she was expecting that Pam would just be like struck by lightning and just like killed that way. And then, as the pallbearers are carrying their teacher, who was a very large man, carrying his casket to the plot, they were struggling, and they ended up actually, one of them tripped over a rock, and the casket launched forward and crushed Pam to death. So, a little bit of hubris
Yeah.
for, I mean, it's essentially, it's a very common, like, Wicca belief. Whatever you put out into the universe will come back to you. And I guess that's like the shit she was messing with. Fuck you, Pam. Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Pam was an absolute cunt. Can we say that on YouTube or do we have to beep that? But
Uh,
that's what Pam was. And I'm not saying she deserved death, but I'm also not mad about it. Anyway, that was while she was in high school, and I think that was probably shortly before Lisa actually got kidnapped. So I think it is a bit of a modern story. I think it's interesting that she like they because the way they phrased it, like village, like who says village anymore?
I mean, I actually was raised in the village because I actually lived in a place that was small enough to be considered a village.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
I grew up somewhere even smaller. It's still, I'm like, I don't. Village just seems like it's such like an old timey term to me. That's why I was like, when I read it the first time, like months ago, I was like, yeah, she's from forever ago. And then when I started getting to the chumps, I was like, no, she's not. What? What's your opinions on twins? I enjoy them. I just think their tactics to like get a 4K with them is a little. Eh. I grew up at your mom's house. Oh, wow, artist. Wow. That is so unfortunate because me too. There's a group of
I
houses near me called The Village.
I thought it was kind of fun how at the beginning of the tome, her grandma's like, bad stuff's gonna happen, and she's like, Psh, it's not like I'm gonna get kidnapped by cannibals or anything. Like specifically
Oh,
mentioned that,
yes.
and then what
This,
happened? She got kidnapped by cannibals.
yeah, her gran also told this story about how she once turned someone into like a twisted swamp tree monster. And she was like, that's not, I'm not going to be a swamp tree monster. And she fucking is.
Yeah.
She's the definition of a swamp tree monster. Speaking of, this will be taking place at Backwater Swamp, everyone's least favorite map. Well, not least favorite. I feel like a lot of people like the indoor least favorite outdoor map.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I feel like that's much more of a consistent saying.
I also feel
So
like she's one of the killers that wants to be in the fog because of the fact that the fourth anniversary you could get the crown and it is specifically for the hag and its quote is for the entity's biggest fan. So, yeah.
I mean, honestly though, I believe that because it was the entity essentially helped her out of a situation that she was going to die from.
Yeah.
And also helped her get revenge on those who were killing her and killing the people around her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the fact that she grew up and believed in superstition, and I would assume like a deity of some sort, if not like multiple deities, she probably doesn't see it as wholly evil. Like,
The entity's like, I have a claw. I gave you a claw. We're besties now.
oh my gosh, it is now a conspiracy theory. The entity's claw is actually the hag's hand.
Maybe it's a loner.
Mm.
Either way, I feel like the hag is actually buddies with the entity.
I think she has no problems being in the realm killing people.
Yeah, it's still a little weird that she decides to like in her mori she eats people. But I mean, if the entity likes her that much, maybe she's like eating them, and the entity is like, "Well, it tastes like caramel apples now. Congratulations."
I don't think it's so weird, because if she's of the mindset that essentially she's just constantly reliving killing her and eating her captors,
Mm-hmm.
and the survivors are just basically stand-ins for them, that could make sense.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the sheet. All right. So, like I said, we're at Backwater Swamp, and I don't know if you have a specific idea of who you would like to be first dead or how you would like people to get there. Honestly, I was thinking It could just be a reenactment of her own story of some people just wake up from whatever circumstance they were in prior, and they are just shackled in the basement of the shack
I mean, that
in
works.
the swamp. Easy enough. All 27 people just huddled down there.
Who hasn't eaten someone to impress their crush, right?
You know what? If that's what you gotta do, find a new crush. Um, no, I do really think that she has no issues working for the entity, though. I think she's one of the few
Yeah.
who does enjoy it.
Yeah, I think she's happy where she is.
Yeah,
It's the
I find
closest
her
thing
lore
we
very
get.
interesting too.
It's the closest thing we're gonna get to a happy ending.
For a while, yeah. I feel like a lot of the licensed characters also enjoy being there. I think she's one of the few original characters who's just like, yeah, this is fine. It's better than where I was.
Yeah, I think it was Pyramid Head went there by himself, like of his own volition.
Just following Cheryl or what?
I think he just felt like going. I don't know. I like briefly started looking into him, and they're like, yeah, he's one of the ones that actually wants to be there, and I'm like, hot damn, we got another one. Because I really want to see the if the killers are trying to break out, who would actually be successful in defeating the entity, and then who would, be like, you know what, I like the entity. We're friends, and I think Hagatha would be one of them.
That's interesting because I think Pyramid Head would be the only one who could actually beat the entity. But if he went there by his own volition, would he want to? Like,
Who knows? We'd have to do a lot more research into Pyramid Head to see what the fuck he's up to, because
mhm.
the lore of Silent Hill is just it's a lot. So you'd have to do a lot more research into him.
I apparently actually own the first Silent Hill movie. I've never watched it before, but I own it. So there's that.
I have heard that it has nothing to
Nothing to do
do,
with the game. I heard the same thing.
because I also watched the movie but never played the game. And I thought when I watched it, which again, I was like my first year of college or something when it came out, and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, this is kind of a fun movie." And somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, is this a good movie?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I worked at a movie store. And he came back and he was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? This isn't a Silent Hill movie." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I've never played Silent Hill before." And he was just like, "I need a refund for this." I'm so
Wow.
sorry.
Wow. Pretty fun. Let's see. Michael gets to stay in the entity and kill Lori all the time, so I'm guessing he's enjoying his life. Oh, Michael 100% is.
Yeah, I think he also got
Michael
there.
and Freddy.
Yeah, they both went on their own. Um, Twins would be another one that would stick around with the entity, I think, because
I think so too.
Charlotte's only there because of Victor.
I was about to say Charlotte would never leave Victor, and
And
Victor would be dead
yeah.
if they left. So
But anyway,
it's just
that's
so tragic.
that's a
A future
theory for another
episode.
day. Because we're like starting to creep in on it. But yeah, another day
Yeah.
we'll get there, have the fight. Anyway,
Future
so
episode.
I thought that Ash would die first because what?
For the past 3 episodes, we have been on point with the first dead.
Was yours along the lines of he would probably look at her and she would like make some sort of hissing noise and he'd be like, "Ah, bite me."
No, but that's so much better. I was considering continuing the tradition of embarrassing bathroom death goes to Ash of some sort.
Oh,
But that was before I thought of like a potential setting. I was just like, what if we have the dude bro car and they just like pull over to the side of the road and Ash is like, I gotta take a piss, but he slips in the mud, falls down, cracks his head. Like, because they're in the swamp. Like, but no, I actually like that. That's hilarious. So first dead Ash. Robin's not here, right? Just wanted to double check. Thank you for the love artist. I don't know why
Sorry,
the sound
Robin.
alert isn't working. Anyway, first dead Ash. Also, I would like to point out that if we ever have an issue where we're like, yeah, and then the cops show up on the scene, we no longer have to say, and Tap died. We can tragically kill Leon.
Oh yeah, we got Leon and Jill. They are now fodder.
Yes. Leon and Jill have been added to the roster of 27 survivors to go through now. Back talking, what did he say again? What was
Bite
the
me.
exact? Oh, God, yes.
And
Oh,
she
perfect for,
does.
for Cannibal.
So did you have a guess on who the last survivor is gonna be?
And Lodi.
I had Elodie and Jake.
Oh, okay. I'll put him there. We'll see if he makes it.
I say Jake doesn't make it very often. I'm rooting for him.
Did Alex pay you, or?
No, I was just thinking, he's used to being out in the woods, and if he knows he has to look out for some marks, he's gonna be the one to be able to tiptoe through there.
All right. Give me 1 second here, real quick. What about Claire, Chris, and Jonathan? They're not survivors. They're just cosmetics.
Yeah,
So we're gonna stick to the actual survivors.
yeah. If they add lore to them, then we can take them. But until we have, because we're just going on the DBD lore until we get to the licensed people. So whatever they give us, that's what we can operate off of, just to have a good baseline.
Background.
Since
Yeah.
some of the lore is very convoluted and just yeah.
Like Halloween, if you go from like the first movie to like one of the more recent, like so much shit gets retconned.
Yeah. That and there's
Um,
how many ghost faces, so we have to go off
Yeah.
of the ghost face that's specifically in DBD.
No, we are going off of Matthew Lillard Ghost. No, I'm just kidding.
But Danny, he's the evil Spider-Man.
We'll do Danny. It's fine.
I love Danny.
Maybe I'll just hate Ash. We do. I think that's pretty clear.
I mean, in a situation where all of them are chained to a wall, I feel like Ash is going to be the one to immediately offend somebody.
If Blight, Twins, and Trickster had gotten maps, I think Blight's would have been like his laboratory, and Trickster's would have been like the recording studio
Yeah,
or a concert hall.
I would have loved that. Because I just the
A Trickster
entire.
map would have been so cool.
I know.
I was really hoping, but not like high hoping, but no. All right, so Ash, they're all trapped down there. She comes down. Ash is like, bite me, and she takes it literally as an invitation. He's first to get eaten.
Yeah.
Um, they can't fight her because I would imagine they are being retained. There's shackles and stuff down there, as we've established
Yeah.
how she was held. So they can't, like, honestly, if somebody could break free, they could probably snap her like a twig. But
I feel like
they
out of
can't.
all of them, somebody who would be able to escape from restraints would probably be Ace. He just gives me the feeling that he's been restrained
He's
before.
picked many locks in his life.
Yeah. So I feel like out of all of them, Ace has probably got a decent shot of, just sneakily picking the lock or some shit.
That's a pretty good one. Wobble pointed out as well, wouldn't you think Nancy would be small enough to escape the shackles? And I was kind of leaning along those lines. I was like, who's the tiniest girl? Who
Cheryl's
has the
got
smallest
teeny
wrist?
tiny wrists.
Cheryl does?
Yeah, she's got little itty bitty little bitty wrists.
I was thinking like Fung or Nancy, but yeah, Cheryl's pretty tiny, isn't she?
I'll tell you who's not getting the fuck out. That's Quentin with his fucking Freddy hands. Like, he's probably the one that has it, like, digging into him because it's just so damn thick.
No, Quentin has it. It's so loose around because his wrists are actually really small. It's just his hand is the size of his face. So the shackles are probably really loose, but he just can't because his hands are the size of like two of mine. Oh, do you think he gets to sleep at least?
I mean, he's probably gonna take a dirt nap if anything else.
Why did that hurt? Okay, well, all right. Do we want someone to break free at this point?
I feel like
Because
Ace
if we
would
do, like,
Ace would take some time because he's probably gotta one find something to pick the lock with, unless he's got it on his person. Which,
hmm,
knowing Ace, he might actually have it on his person.
can he get to it?
But
I
yeah, I
feel
think I
like.
think Cheryl and Nancy might be able to slip out.
So what if one of them slipped out while Hag was still there and she attacked them? And then they wait until Hag leaves for the other one to slip out to help Ace fetch. Nancy has bobby pins
Oh
in
yeah,
her hair,
totally.
in that one hair. You feel like Elodie would break free fast? I think she would, but I'm scared of her dying early.
Yeah.
I want her to live for this whole thing.
I feel like she's smart enough to analyze the situation cuz I mean, the place has probably got the symbols like all over the goddamn place.
Easily.
Catan, you gotta let go of my boob. She just grabbed my boob and was like tugging at it, and now she's just standing on it.
And as soon as Elodie starts like noticing like the symbols and stuff, the first time anybody like triggers one of them and Hag just like pops up out of the place, like Elodie's gonna be the one like we can't go near these.
Yeah.
And like just tell everybody like that's what happened. Somebody went near it and they died.
Can I just say it's probably gonna be Dwight? Like the moment he gets out, he's gonna run for it and fucking trigger one.
Yes. Poor Dwight. Poor Dwight. Um all right, so who do we want dying after Ash? Nancy or Cheryl?
Oh, we're just gonna go ahead and kill one of them right away? Damn.
I say one of them slips out while she's still too close, and then she just like, ah, what's that? And kind of jumps on them, and her Mori.
I feel like Cheryl would have the common sense not to do that.
That's fair. Nancy's not the brightest. I
No.
love her, but she didn't even notice her friend getting dragged away to another dimension.
Yeah. That
So I will always hold Barb against her, but
I
I know
think
she,
everybody does.
yeah.
Justice for Barb.
I should go grab my other glasses. Just all right. All right. So Hag leaves, and then Cheryl manages to get free,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess picks a bobby pin off of Nancy's remains
Yeah.
per Ace's discretion. And Ace is like, "Here, I'm gonna tell you how to pick this lock off of this to free my hand." And then he's like, "Oh, we're gonna get everyone else out of here."
Yeah.
Okay, so Cheryl gets her first ever lock picking lesson. I think. I don't know. I've never played the game. Is there lock picking in the game? Is it like a Resident Evil Fallout thing,
I
or
don't know.
who knows? I don't know.
So,
Mom's a gamer. She'd want to be the first one just to win.
I feel like they would let Jill and Leon out first and possibly Tap because, cops or still at least wearing the uniform, even though they're
hmm
not technically a cop anymore. Uh, and then
As sacrifices, right?
yeah, everybody starts working from there. Like get the most important people out that can defend us and hold the
I was
door
gonna say
while we get them out.
David's probably one of the first ones too.
Yeah.
David's just ready to fight her, just hand to hand. He just wants to like lift her up and just break her in half over his knee.
Yeah, she's probably like looking at him like I'm just going to wait for that one to ripen a little more. Like, not only is that like a massive mouthful, but also
At this
it's
point,
very feisty.
do we want this point when they're starting to free everybody? Well, no, if they don't free, if they free like the more important ones, they wouldn't free Dwight yet. I was thinking like if
Right.
they free Dwight and he trips the trap right then. But at that point, I think too many strong people would be free and they would just fucking kill her.
Yeah.
Uh, she's slow, she's small,
I figured
she's
like if they would let Dwight out and they'd have like three or four more people that they gotta get out, and Dwight just runs straight up the stairs and heads out the shack and triggers it up there. So
yes.
they're all just down in the basement to hear. "Bleh! Oh!"
Nikki pointed out that Yui would also be good enough to fight tag, which 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yui's our constant fighter. Okay, so they're getting everybody free, and then Dwight just ran to a trap,
Yeah.
which she'll obviously place exactly where she left it again,
Yeah, absolutely.
as hags do. Um, but now we have pretty much everybody loose in there.
All
No
right.
longer detained. We could end this so early and
I
be like, they
know.
all rush up and fight her.
Yeah. um so at this point I feel like Elodie would probably want to like get at least an idea of what's going on with the symbols or
Mm-hmm.
have a theory and like
Basically, or just like a, we can't just go fight her because we don't know what she's capable of.
yeah.
Every survivor is in this scenario. We just run down the whole list of 27 and how they would die.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, so if Dwight ran up, I don't know if anybody actually would have seen him trip the trap.
But they might see a splattering of blood on top of a symbol since they she places it in the exact same spot.
That is
Be
fair.
like, well, something clearly happened here.
But would any of them be smart enough to approach it crouching? Or would someone else be dumb enough to walk over it?
I say there's a lot of characters that would not approach it at this point,
I
especially
think
if Elodie's like, "Hey, we should be careful about this."
David.
David, David's like, "Fuck that."
David's just like, we have to be careful. I can beat her.
Yeah, he just strides on out.
Uh, David. Dumb confidence. Rocker or stick and throw it at the trap to see what would happen. Or they could do that. So Nikki says that Elodie would take like a rock stick to throw it at the trap, but that wouldn't trip it. Which
Just,
actually
just
could make the
imagining,
scenario a lot worse.
just
'Cause
imagining Yunjin just like elbowing somebody and knocking them into it. Like, because everybody's got their guns drawn and they're ready, and the rock doesn't do anything. They're like, huh? And Yunjin's just like, push.
if Dwight's already dead, because he would be the one.
I don't know. I feel like she would push like somebody that's smaller than her, like maybe Lori or Fung
or Quentin,
or
who's
Quentin. Nobody
who's
would
pretty
notice.
much,
They would
yeah,
be
nobody
like,
would know.
"Who the fuck is that guy?" And Yunjin's like had already made a mental inventory of expendable people, and he is
He's
number one.
So I'm actually thinking with what Nikki said, if Elodie was like, "Hey, no, let's toss like a rock or something, see if what happens," it wouldn't trigger it. So
Right.
they would probably do a false sense of security of them being like, "Oh, it's okay." So then, do we want it to be David or Quentin?
I want Quentin to die. David's just too beefy. Like, it's gonna take multiple passes to get him, I feel.
Okay.
Or another tree.
All right, so Quentin gets shoved forward by Yunjin. And then they see that it's not just when anything triggers the trap, it's when a person walks over it that it goes off.
Yep.
And Quentin just gets downed immediately and his heart ripped out.
Yeah.
Um, they could all scatter into the swamp. Because, I mean, I don't know. That would be my rationale of if I got out of being held hostage and I saw somebody in front of me get mauled by a swamp tree person and their heart ripped out, I wouldn't like run back into the shack or anything. I would just be like, take my odds and run out into the swamp.
See, I would probably stay with them because we got Tap, we have Jill, we had Leon. I mean, I would just be dry humping their legs like save me.
All right, so we want everybody to stick together.
I mean, we could have a couple people scatter because I mean, you just said you would run, and I'd say I would stay with the people that have guns.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be Dinos in the group, and there's gonna be Zens in the group. It's just
That's
that the
fair.
Dinos are gonna trigger all the traps outside.
Yes. Okay, so we have that core group of um Jill, Leon, Tap, Bill.
Yeah.
Um, anything Dino would do in real life, Kate will do. There's a reason I started off as a Kate main.
Yeah, that and Kate seems to like see danger and go towards it. Like that's all of her cutscenes.
So Kate would be one to run away.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Eerie, it's perfect you've been playing Hag all day. um, let me look at the list. Who do we have here? I think Meg would run.
I'd see that.
I think Claudette would stay.
Yeah.
Jake would stay.
Yep.
Mia.
Nia would be smart enough to like if she left, she's going to go very stealthily.
So maybe she doesn't leave yet.
Or if she does, she's not going to trigger anything.
Yeah. I think we could leave Nia with like the larger group for now. So Meg would leave. Lori, I think, would leave. I
She might run back in the basement, but that's more from watching Halloween the movie.
yeah. I was like, I don't think Lori would like stick around, but yeah, maybe she would
Because
run back into the basement.
I
That
mean,
would make
Meyer
sense.
broke into her house, so she went to a room, closed the door in that house and locked it, and then put her face against the door where she could hear him breathing and stayed there instead of like climbing out the window and running. So if she
Um,
runs, she's not going far.
Kate would definitely leave. I'm leaning toward Ace also being a runner of just being like,
Yeah.
y'all are on your own.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll take my chances outside.
uh, Funk would probably stay. David,
David would run
I,
towards the trap that just went
I,
off.
I was like, I could see him actually like running out there and be like, I'm gonna kill her.
Yeah, he just dives at her, but somebody else triggers the trap, so he just face plants on the ground, laying on Quentin's body.
Oh gosh. Who else would run? Who else would run? Elodie would not. She
No,
wouldn't let
she's
Felix leave either.
yeah, she knows better.
Steve, he's kind of dumb.
He is kind of dumb, but he's not much of a runner. He's more of a fighter.
That's true.
He's
But
he's
maybe that's because he thinks he'll make it out on his own too.
he's stupid brave, not
That's
stupid coward.
that's good.
Um,
Um,
Cheryl is gonna stay because Cheryl's seen worse.
yeah. Yui would stay.
Oh yeah.
Yunjin absolutely would not. Yunjin needs to have somebody near her to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yunjin's just gonna push somebody else out the door, and then the moment that like the Hagatha is busy, Yunjin's just gonna bolt by her.
Zarina,
I think Serena would stay.
do you?
Like she's kind of observing everything. She's a smart cookie.
She is, but I feel like she would also run.
She just saw somebody leave the shack and get got.
Yes.
I think she would make the
Get away
connection,
from the shack.
but the traps are outside the shack.
Leon would yeet a flashbang into the situation. Okay, Zarina can stay. Jane and Jeff and Adam.
Jeff's too drunk. If anything, he's going to be one of the people that stumbles on it.
Yeah. I don't think Adam
Jane.
would leave.
What?
I don't think Adam would leave.
I don't think so either. I think Jane would stay too.
Okay.
Jane doesn't seem like a runner
So
to me.
so just Meg, Ace, and Kate scatter.
Yeah, and Yunjin's going to leave like when she sees somebody else get got, so she's using them as a distraction.
Okay. And
At
Lori ran back into the basement. I'm gonna assume nobody fucking noticed.
Yeah. I mean, at the very worst, Yunjin's going to chuck someone else like out the window and then escape
Hmm.
that way to, test and make sure, or she's going to grab like Fung and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure you get out of here," but she's actually using her to check for traps. Like having her walk in front of her.
Oh no. That's so mean.
But it's so Yunjin.
Oh, it is. I feel like Kate would have a fighting chance against some killers considering she escaped the entity before. Oh yeah, we've had Kate be like the last girl in a couple of them.
Yeah.
I'm done with my coffee. Okay. Does that mean trap testers get paid well? Absolutely not. In fact, they lose their hearts. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I mean, do we want Meg, Ace, and Kate to die when they go out? Because I had imagined when I was leaning towards Zarina, I think Zarina would run, but I don't think she would actually get got either. I think she'd actually be okay out there.
The first person to get out the door is the first person to die.
Ace.
Meg's
I
pretty
think
quick though, cuz
she is.
she's got
I
the
imagined
running.
they were already out the door, though.
What?
I imagined they were already out the door. Like they were coming out, and then like Quentin gets pushed, sets off the trap. Hag's there eating his heart, and then some people just like run for it while she's distracted eating Quentin.
Okay.
That's why I was expecting more people to run because she's busy.
I think most people would still continue moving as a group. But I think that also like at that point all of our people with guns are going to start firing. Just open
That's
fire.
fair.
They didn't even notice it was Quentin. They just saw her. um yeah, Yunjin would definitely
I'm
peace
assuming.
out, but she might take somebody with her to,
I'm assuming bullets actually can't kill her,
I don't know. I didn't see any like evidence otherwise.
just because like she's a supernatural being
True. It
and
might run her off
probably
temporarily.
already dead. Yeah, like I think it could damage her and run her off, but I don't think it would actually kill her.
That makes sense.
She's
Or
made of mud and spite. Yes.
or Yunjin could try and seduce somebody. Like she tries to take big strong David. Be
Yeah.
like, "You'll get me out of here, right? You'll protect me." And David's like, "Yeah."
David's heartbroken because his boyfriend Dwight already died.
Yeah.
Steve's also heartbroken. His girlfriend died. Felix, I guess, is the next big strong guy, or Tap.
Yeah, Tap's not gonna fall for that. Felix isn't gonna fall for that. But David is.
Jeff.
Do you think Yunjin would associate with Jeff?
It's not serious. It's just for fodder.
She might try.
Like, I think David would be another situation, but I also, like, highly ship David and Dwight. They're absolutely an item. 100%. He's not just gonna be like, yeah, I'll move on now to Yunjin. Like maybe later, if they like both made it out of the situation, they could have. No, she would never.
Pe- I mean, people respond to grief differently. I remember there's one guy
That
from
fast? It's
one
been
guy
2 minutes.
yeah, one guy from the haunted house, like he had a girlfriend within a week of his wife dying, so why not?
That's a week. That's not 2 minutes.
Maybe
His boyfriend's blood is on the ground in front of them.
maybe David gets grief boners. I don't know.
Oh man, what an Edish Fae, am I right?
He wants to fight his feelings.
A week, 2 minutes, time is an illusion. That's true. It's all subjective. Tap would shoot the hag, hag would get knocked down, and Tap would check to see if the hag is dead, and then the hag would rip his heart out. Ooh. That could happen to anybody. But I feel like our himbo Leon instead of Tap, actually.
No, he's too hot to die.
Like I said, we have another cop to expend first. It doesn't always have to be Tap.
I know. But he's just so cute.
Precious. The most precious Leon. But he's got that rookie spirit, you know?
Yeah.
And he's just like, we downed her. I'll make sure she's dead. And she's not.
But he's like from Resident Evil. Wouldn't he double tap?
It's not gonna kill her either. I mean, technically, Bill's in the army. He would also double tap. Taps the cop.
just imagining
tap.
the entire group of four. Just don't forget to double tap,
joke.
and they all just fire just headshots.
8 times. She goes down, and Leon's like, no, you just make sure she's dead. And like, as soon as he gets close. Because, yeah, 100%, all 4 of them, they know to double tap.
Just imagining just open fire and just one of them just don't forget to
Just
double
21
tap, and they're
guns
in like
salute
a
the
half,
hag.
they're in like a half circle, and all of them are just like. Doosh, doosh, doosh.
Leon's a rookie cop, though. Shoot first, ask questions later seems about right. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All the military cop guys just 21 gun salute the hag. Yes. So, Leon or Tap, who do we want to die that route?
Um.
I feel like Leon's the one dumb enough.
Yeah. That and like if anything, Jill would like give him a tap on the back and be like, "All right, rookie, check it out."
God. She would feel so bad.
She would, but that's why you don't get attached to your rookies.
No. Um. Perfect. So when you say attached to your rookie, hold on, I think she's still typing. What kind of attachment are we talking?
I'm just saying that Leon's ass is a flash grenade because I get stunned every time I look at it.
Oh, Oh, that is perfect. Beautiful. Um, please clip that and put it on TikTok later. Okay. So Leon's dead. Who are we killing next and how?
So I think at this point we'll get one of our runners so that our three remaining people can loot Leon's body for additional guns and ammo. And that
All
might
right.
actually make some more people sprint out of there if they just saw somebody get riddled with bullets and then double tapped by four different people.
And still get back up and eat.
Yeah, gets back up, puts the hand right through the bulletproof vest chest. Yeah. That's when people will be like, you know what? I'm gonna run.
All right. So one of our first runners, you want them to die, or do we want like all three of them to die?
First runner.
Meg.
I'm voting Meg.
Meg's the fastest. So she hits one of the traps that's out there.
Yep.
Now the hack can have 10 traps. So we could. That's already two. We could just go buy 8 more traps based on whoever runs,
True.
and then just 8 people just right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So we could also go ahead and just kill Ace and Kate if we wanted to, or if we want to save them for later, we can.
I want to follow up with them. I feel like they need more of a story.
Okay.
I think Lori's going to be our bathroom death
Okay.
cuz she's like hiding in the basement and she's got to pee. But that
Okay.
can be later cuz I feel like she would hunker down there for a little bit longer.
All right. Let's figure out who's the new group of runners.
Hmm. I like pull up the list here.
8 traps would make them drop like flies. I like having a mass death occasionally because it really just like culls the herd.
It
Um,
does.
Also, how are you liking playing Hag Eerie? I really struggle with her. She's hard.
Let's see here. So,
I think Zarina would run.
Dwight's dead. Meg's dead. Claudette might run. Nia would probably peace out at that point.
Hmm.
Lori's already in the basement. Ace ran. Bill's staying with the group. Fung might run.
I'm thinking Fung would run. Fung and Nia definitely.
Uh, David would run towards the sounds of screaming.
So toward where Meg just died.
Yeah. Quentin is already dead. Tap's gonna stay with the guns. Kate's already running. I don't think Adam would run. He's not a runner.
Nah, and he's way smart and knows that like at least within numbers he's less likely like probability wise to be dead.
Yeah, Jeff's gonna run. I think Jane will stay. Steve might take off. Yui's not gonna back down. She's gonna stay. Zarina might leave. Cheryl's gonna stay. Felix and Elodie are gonna stay. Yunjin. Did we decide she's gonna take Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, so Yunjin takes Jeff. Jill's gonna stay. Leon is dead.
Okay. So let me run through that again. So you said Claudette, Nia,
Yeah.
Fung, David, Jeff, Steve, Zarina, and Yunjin.
Yes.
I have great news for you.
What's that?
This is exactly 8.
Oh, damn. So, but I don't think Nia's going to trigger the trap because she's
She
sneaky,
won't.
sneaky.
She is very
She's
sneaky,
got
sneaky.
that urban evasion.
She is gonna like move slow enough and like creep around and like see a trap and go around it, and like I think she'll be
I
fine.
was gonna say, if nothing else, she's going to tag the area around it, just drawing dicks with the fucking drawing in the center.
Yeah, she's just like every time she sees one, she just like highlights it in like some white paint
Yeah,
so like the others can see it, but it's just a dick. Like,
yeah, it's just a dick.
but it helps the others see it easier.
Yeah, she's just gonna
So
be the resident troll. She doesn't get killed. She's just drawing dicks.
I like that. So the other seven, we could just off them all.
Technically, yes.
Is there any that you would like to make sure make it further? I feel like Yunjin would sacrifice Jeff, but then into a trap
Oh
herself.
yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, yeah. Definitely need that karma.
Um, I want Steve to live so bad. he's
We can
just
keep Steve alive.
he's just so dumb. He's
So of
brave,
the
but
eight,
he's dumb.
man, it stink. Like I love Leon, but Steve has some big himbo competition now.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So if we have those eight run off, Steve and Nia can last a little bit longer, and we kill the other six.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is Claudette, Fang. Who else?
Zarina. Pull my list back up.
Jeff and Yunjin. And there's one more. David.
Yeah. You forgot Kate.
No, we were saving Kate and Ace. We're gonna go back to them.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
So Jeff gets pushed into a trap by Yunjin, right?
yeah. She just has him like walking ahead, and he sets off a trap, and Yunjin's like, "Okie dokie, I'm gonna go this other way," and then steps on another trap.
All right. David is just running in every which direction, trying like whatever the most recent scream is.
Or he finds one of the dicks. It's like, this bitch is challenging me. She's just mocking me now. Just stomps on it.
Oh God. Oh, Nia sandbags David. What's
Yes.
new? Anything special with how Claudette Fung and Zarina?
No, I think like they're just gonna stumble on him and not be able to get out.
Okay. That is one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight of her traps have been used.
Okay.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, technically eight because the Dwight and Quentin one was actually the same trap, just reset.
Yeah.
Okay. So she has two more traps out there somewhere.
And they are both tagged with dicks.
Perfect.
That's gonna be however like the people make it out of here is just Nia tagging dicks everywhere.
Yunjin has to use smash hit in this scenario. We don't incorporate their perks, unfortunately. It's just their pure who they are as a character and also the headcanon we've assigned them.
Yeah.
Um
So
like we
back
have a whole headcanon where Yunjin and Yui hate each other.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So back in the big group, they have taken everything off of Leon's body,
And given it to Jake, probably.
given it to Jake.
I feel like Jake is probably one of the most capable left, or Yui.
I'd give it to Yui. Fuck
Yeah,
that,
I would give it to
man.
Yui.
Yui just gives me the like. She seems like she would be somebody who would actually know how to use a gun.
Oh yeah,
It's like last
100%.
resort, but still, because Yui can kick somebody's ass without a gun.
Okay, so they just basically give all of Leon's shit to Yui, and they're just like, "Here you go, new rookie."
Yep.
Quoting Jill. So who is in that group, by the way? So we have Jake in that group, Bill, Tap, Adam, Jane,
Jill.
Yui. Yeah, sorry, I was going in order. I threw me off. I was like, who the fuck's Jill? Yui, Cheryl, Felix, Elodie, and Jill.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
at this point, I think Elodie's getting kind of an idea of what's going on, and they now know to look out for traps, which is going to put Jake out in the forefront because he is used to maneuvering through, all different kinds of
Trapped
landscapes. Since,
force.
yeah, because I mean, dude lives out there,
Mm-hmm.
so he's fine. And then if he needs a light, Adam has the lighter. Jill probably has a fucking flashlight.
Which
Oh
gets rid
yeah.
of the traps.
There we go.
So,
That group suddenly has an out.
but do they have an out? Because while it gets rid of them, it gives it back to the hag. So
True.
these traps that Nia, so if they come across a trap and Jake's like, there's one, and then it's already a dick is painted around it, and they're like, Nia's been here. And then Jill's just like point a flashlight, like, watch out, everybody, don't go near it, and just like highlighting it, and it just vanishes. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's great. But now the hack can just set a trap somewhere else that they don't know where it's at because Nia's not even tagged that one yet.
True. But I also feel like at that
So,
point, Jill's going to be like aiming the flashlight in just a wide arc on the ground to
mhm,
make sure it's covering their area.
smart, which is one of the best tricks to do when you're in chase with hag, by the way.
Yeah.
If you can figure out how to do it, just like when you go around a corner, just real quick, just flash and sweep. um,
Elodie's probably figuring out, like, okay, we need to exercise this bitch. So her and Felix are just like in a
not
little
really.
huddled group, just chatting it up.
She's not really a demon. They could be talking about cult shit though,
True.
of being like, "Jesus, is anything like our parents ever mentioned it? Like this is new to me. The symbols are interesting. She could teleport with them, but like flashlights make them go away. But then like it doesn't trigger when a rock throws at it. But if a person steps on it, and they're just like in the back of the group, just like,
Yeah. Jane's just like doing the kindly brontosaurus, just trying to listen and be part of it.
um, Cheryl too probably. But
Oh
Cheryl's just
yeah.
like, I've seen some shit.
Yeah, they're just like in this little group, just like chatting it up, and Cheryl's sharing all of her stories, and Elodie's trying to put some she's just got this mental map going on.
Hmm. I feel like,
Oh
oh,
boy.
hi, Raiden.
Dogs be borking.
Do we want anybody in this group to get got before we move on to? I think the bathroom death should be after this.
I think they're in good shape because they've got a pretty good thing going for them with the flashlight sweeping, and then Nia's dicks.
Okay. What if Jill runs out of batteries? Doesn't have to be now, but could be down the line.
Ooh,
Hi, Line Master.
that is definitely a possibility.
So we could go to the embarrassing bathroom death.
Let's do the embarrassing bathroom death. Get your
Lori's
toilet emojis out, kids.
Lori's been went right back into the basement of Shaq because it seemed like the safest option at the time, but now she has to pee.
Yeah.
So she goes back out there.
Yeah.
Because you don't pee where you sleep,
No, you don't.
right? She would go outside
Yeah.
and
Squat down and then like fall backwards because she's not used to peeing in the woods. Just,
slip and hit her head just as Lisa did,
oh
except with her pants
no.
down.
And that's how you go. Embarrassing bathroom death.
Tragic. I never thought the embarrassing bathroom death would go to Lori. I have Wobble and Nikki putting actual toilet emojis in chat. Thank you so much. Um, all right, slips while peeing, hits her head. All right. So, do we want to kill off more of the runners?
Oh, look at Coco
Do we want
stretching.
to visit Ace and Kate, or do we want to try
Yes.
to get someone from the bigger group?
Let's check out Ace and Kate and see how they're doing.
All right. I feel like Ace is completely unaware of the environment. He is pretending he knows exactly where he's going.
Oh,
Um,
hang on. Wobble came to visit.
Hello. Why are you sleeping in our tub? The porcelain keeps the suit from wrinkling.
There's your command, Wobble. Since you're over here.
Coco, you're on camera, please.
She getting some butthole cleaning done.
Yeah. The big group sticking together now. So in the big group, we have Jake leading the way, keeping an eye out for traps. We have Bill, David Tapp, Adam, Jane, Yui, Cheryl, Felix, Elodie, and Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl, Felix, and Elodie are leading up the rear. They're talking about everything that's happened, all the knowledge so far that like Elodie has been able to gather and trying to figure out like what's going on, how the hag can do this, how they can like get out alive. Jane's just trying to eavesdrop.
Yeah.
Um, Jake, like I said, is leading the front. I would say Bill, Tap, and Jill are probably right behind him,
Yep.
with Adam and Cheryl probably like right behind them as well, in line with like Jane, essentially, in the middle.
Yeah, I could see Adam like coming and trying to help out with the information. Just like trying to
I
help.
thought you were about to say try to help Jake look out for traps because
No.
no, but if he did, because I don't think he'd be as good at it, but he would try and
He
he would
would.
he would step on one.
I just love Adam.
You too. We don't have to do that too. We could do it to someone else.
Okay.
Jane's with the bigger group. Okay, so Ace and Kate, we'll visit them. They ran off. They were one of the first three to run off when Dwight got or Quentin got. Quentin got. So
Yeah.
when Quentin,
Yeah.
yeah, when Quentin got pushed into the trap by Yinjin, those three ran off. Meg's already dead. We have Ace and Kate.
Yep.
Not together. They are separated on
Yes.
their own.
I feel like
I
Kate just gets lost.
yeah, I feel like they're both lost, but Ace is more confident about it.
Yeah, he's one of those people that like you're in the car with them and they're like maybe we should stop and ask for directions. And I'm like no, I know where I am.
Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, and then okay, so Kate actually would love that that classic scene of the blonde white lady running away from the killer and just like looking over her shoulder.
Doesn't even see the dick in front of her.
No, and just steps right on the trap. A hag comes out and she just takes off running, but the hag just eventually catches up and just like pounces on her.
I just love the idea of the hag just exploding out of a dick in the ground.
Edge hagulation.
Yes.
All right. So Kate, just the classic running away scene. All right. There's one more trap out there somewhere. Technically, she could be resetting them,
She could be because
but
she's
we
not.
can rely on that if we need it.
But does she reset them in the same places?
No? No.
All
I
right,
think she only
so
would have reset that one in the trap and at the shack because she would have known everyone else was downstairs.
I feel like Ace, just because it's Ace, it should be left up to chance if he makes it.
Good idea.
So, like, if she's got 10 traps down, let's just say that he had, like, what do we want his odds to be?
A 1 out of 10. But let me do something. Let me do like a pick a random number 1 through 10
Mm-hmm.
first, and then if you roll that number, he hit the trap.
Okay.
So
Don't tell me the number. We'll just, we'll find out.
okay, I have the number up.
All right. It's 10.
Oh, thank goodness he lives. It was a 3.
He continues to see another day. The odds are in his favor.
Does this mean he lives forever? Like he eventually just like stumbles out of the swamp and hitchhikes his way back to town?
I think he should have a couple more rolls to see if
Okay.
he's that lucky. But for now, he buys another couple of minutes.
Do we want to like next time go down to a D8
We can. I
and
know,
just like
D&D rolls
keep-
number for death.
make it slimmer and slimmer each time?
Yep.
Okay.
Like, he has better odds with the group, but his odds go down as he's by himself.
Okay. That's fair. All right. So then we have so Kate's already dead. Do we want to go back to the larger group?
Yes.
Um
So I feel like Jake, Jill, Yui, and Tap and Bill, like I imagine they're in kind of like an arrowhead formation, like they're trying to keep track
East.
of everything. But
Yeah.
the people behind them are like they're all like huddled together trying to have a conversation. And you know how like it kind of naturally forms into like a line? Like when you're at a theme park and like people are all hanging out together and they're in a fucking line, you're like, could you please not
Yes.
walk in a fucking line and hog the entire space?
Yes.
And then, so Elodie and Felix would be in the middle. Cheryl would probably be close to them too. So one of our other people is gonna get clipped on the outskirts.
That would be Jane or Adam. So we agree it's Jane.
Yes.
But so I guess like they just happen to miss a trap as they're going by.
Yeah,
Like they
because
just don't see it.
yeah, like Jill's sweeping, but it's not sweeping in an arc that's big enough to uh, cover that many people walking in a wide line.
All right. So Hack pops back up, attacks Jane. Do they try shooting her again, or
Uh, Probably at least
do we
trying it.
do we want a misfire at all?
Yeah, let's kill Cheryl.
Tragic. Okay.
Just all of them get scared and they like start trying to run backwards, but Cheryl's seen so much shit. Like she's not surprised by it, so she doesn't get out of the way when all four guns turn as one and start firing into the Hag.
So I think Bill, David, and Jill would actually be on point. I think Yui's the most at risk of
David's already dead. It's
Tap.
Jill.
David Tap.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. So it's Tap, Bill, Jill, and Yui. Yui's definitely probably gonna be the one that yeah.
Oh, Cheryl to Yui's aim.
Yeah.
They don't kill Hag
Right.
again, but they knock her down, and I think nobody's going to be dumb enough to try to check again after what happened to Leon.
Yeah.
Do they just take off running?
They increase their pace with at least one person at the back, like keeping an eye on her.
Um, does that person? I feel like it would be Bill or Jill.
I'll give it to Bill.
Left
He's our
behind.
yeah, he's our left behind boy.
Okay, so Bill brings up the rear, keeping eyes on when she starts to get back up.
Yeah.
Um, she does get back up, and he would sacrifice himself. He he would try to put up a fight and delay her so the rest of them can keep going.
Yeah, if she comes for him, Bill's gonna stay and fight.
I think that should happen.
Give Bill a noble death.
Bill always gets the noble death. All right. So our current list of who is surviving. Uh, is with the big group.
Yes.
Nia's on her own,
Just
but surviving.
drawing
Ace is on his
dicks.
own, drawing dicks every time she finds a trap. Ace is on his own and surviving. Um, we have Tap, Adam.
Do we want to put the rest of them in the list down here, just to have them all together?
Sure. Let me separate that out real quick. All right. So in our big group, let me do that. We have Jake, Tap, Adam. This is the furthest that Tap and Adam have made it so far, I think. Except for like
Tap
Tap
made it
lived.
out the one time though,
Tap
because
lived. He was
because
our final girl last time.
I was really excited about that.
I know.
Jane's
Jane.
dead.
Oh yeah, shoot. Jane did get got.
Jill's still there.
Uh, so Yui, Felix, Elodie, Jill, and then
Nia and Ace.
um, hold on. Insert row below. Insert row below. I'm missing somebody
Hold on. Let's
because
see.
I had to add 2 rows
Who are we
for Jill
missing?
and Leon.
Dwight's dead. Meg's dead. Claudette died. Jake's alive. Nia's alive. Lori's dead. Ace is alive. Bill's dead. Fung's dead.
Fun. Yeah.
David's dead. Quentin's dead. Tap's alive. Kate's dead. Adam's alive. Jeff's dead. Jane's dead. Ash is dead. Nancy's dead. Steve. Did he die already?
Steve ran off. Remember, you didn't
Oh,
want him to die
yeah.
immediately? Forgot about Steve.
Steve lives on.
Steve lives on. Do you want to check in on Steve?
Let's check in on Steve.
What's Steve doing?
Probably panicking.
Trying to find his way out.
Or
Runs into Nia.
or theoretically he's been following the dicks this entire time. It's it's this beacon in a teenager's life. You find a dick and you follow it, man.
So he's following this. He actually finds Nia because you move slower when you're crouching everywhere. Contrary to what people believe about the perk Urban Evasion, you actually don't go any faster. um Okay, so he runs into Nia. They meet up. Follow the intricately drawn dicks. Lodi should be the final girl who survives. Oh, she is on our list.
We have had a male
For
survivor
last.
make it.
We have a few times we've had.
Yeah. Because Tap made it last time, too.
He did.
So I was so happy.
I was really rooting for Lodi, but
And Felix
you know,
made it. Yeah, he had to finish up for Elodie.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. So what's Steve doing?
I imagine Steve's gonna stick with Nia.
Yeah.
because honestly, she draws such nice dicks.
Also, he's been alone for a minute and he actually is like, no, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah,
Um,
it is
but
like they have been the giant glowing dicks of hope in his sad experience in this swamp.
yeah, unfortunately, I would hate to say this, but he's not as careful as Nia,
No.
and I think he could set off a trap that gets them both.
I want Nia's dicks to make it.
I mean, her dicks will be fine. They'll still be there.
Well, if she pops up and attacks them, she might spray her in the eyes.
I don't think it'll stop her though. But I need that cosmetic.
Well, if you look at like the way Hag looks, I feel like she's got some symbols on her body.
Hmm.
So
She does.
if she spray paints her, would that interrupt the symbols?
The spray paint wasn't interrupting them, was it?
She was drawing dicks around it, not on it.
Oh, true. It would turn it into a different symbol, is what you're saying?
Yeah, or disable the symbol altogether if she's got one on her.
I don't
Does
know.
does her best to spray
Because
paint dick on her face.
because I mean the symbols are like carved into her, essentially. And so it wouldn't be like the same. It wouldn't be like breaking up the symbol either, because the paint would just be on top of the symbol.
Also, she lacks the nose structure, so you know that paint's gonna go straight up her nostrils. If nothing else, it should be a little bit of time for her to get away.
Okay. So Steve sets off a trap and gets got, and Nia just like sprays her in the face and runs.
Yeah.
Okay. So Steve, you had one job.
Hmm.
All right. So Nia takes off running. This will put a delay in her marking any sort of traps that she comes across, I'm sure.
Well, let's check in and
Uh,
see if Ace steps on one.
Perfect. What are we rolling for? One
Um,
through.
you're having me roll a d8 for him.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Lucky number 7.
Whew, he lives. Do we want to
Dropped.
go all the way down to a D4?
I think so. I feel like this is the most appropriate way for Ace to live his life.
I do like this. So Ace is still good.
Yes.
Um, if we go back to the larger group of Jake, Tap, Adam, Yui, Felix, Elodie, and Jill.
So they might now ask Adam to help look since they had that horrible accident
Yeah.
and let Felix and Elodie work together to try and figure out a solution.
And Jill's flashlights run out of batteries.
Yeah. So Adam's like probably using a lighter to like light up a tree branch or something to try and
Ooh, make a torch.
yeah. But that shit casts shadows, so you're gonna miss something.
Oh. Who do we want to be the unlucky one?
Probably Adam. He's not trained for this shit.
That's fair. All right, Adam, I'm so sorry.
I'll miss you, sweet boy.
Coco's trying to fight her way out of my room right now. Um, all right. So he sets one off. The hag's back, attacks him, knocks him down, rips his heart out.
And
Do they
mine.
shoot her again?
Might as well.
Uh, so they shoot her again, and use that to while she's stunned to run. Well,
Yes.
not to run, or do you want just a brisk walk again?
Probably. She did get up the last time, so they might have to run this time.
Okay, who's gonna be the one keeping tabs on when she gets back up?
I think Tap would.
Okay.
So
Do we want
Tap's.
another Bill situation? Goes down fighting?
Might as well. You do
All
like
right.
you do like culling the herd.
It just makes it easier to kill people in mass.
All right, so the group's out. Would they hunker down and like? I figure Elodie's probably coming close to some sort of a solution at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So would they be hunkering down now instead of moving to give Elodie time to do her thing?
The boat.
Ooh.
They see the boat and they're like, that seems like a place to pause and collect.
Yes. It's gonna be another Home Alone situation. Like when they tried to trap the trapper.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. What if they try to do that? Would they try to trap her? And Nia ends up walking into a trap.
Yeah.
Eh?
I don't want Nia to die.
What?
I don't want Nia to die.
She's not on the short list.
I know.
She's up for fodder.
I know, but she's been drawing dicks.
She has.
She's
And
been.
now she's like, look at this boat. What a beautiful place to draw many dicks upon.
She probably did use all of her spray paint on the hag's face.
Oh, she has more cans. She's gonna go tag that boat.
Uh,
We'll get back to her because they gotta set up some traps.
yeah.
Do we want another ace luck roll?
What if Nia just spray paints her own traps? I would love that. All right, let's see how Ace does.
You're rolling a
Think,
d6, right?
yep, thinking it would
I'm ready.
work. 6.
He still lives.
Oh my god! Attaboy, Ace!
Name the boat Sir Richards in honor of dick drawing. On a more Yonic line, it's actually the Pale Rose.
It's just a picture of a whale and a dick.
All right. So they get there, and Elodie's just like, okay, so what I've figured out is there are these symbols. Elodie's probably seen some of the symbols carved into the hag too.
Yeah.
Whenever she pops up, she's starting to notice that. So she's like, hey, she has symbols on her. She's drawing these symbols. She can travel through them, but only when someone walks near one. So we have to avoid them at all costs. Obviously, she's not a wholly living creature because at this point, what was it? 20 bullets have entered her body, and she's
Yeah.
still
They've
able to get back up and fight.
yeah, they've tried putting her down again and again and again.
So
And
bullets aren't
just
going to cut it.
yeah.
It's going to have to be some sort of like occult shit
And
that
boy
takes.
howdy does Helity have some occult shit.
So, let's see. Ooh, you know what? She would probably think like, hey, I've seen enough of the symbols. I can draw one
Ooh.
somewhere that we can trap her in. We just need to create a trap room, and someone has to be the one willing to set it off.
Ooh. I don't know if there's even a counter to Hag. We're just kind of working through it. I think Yui would volunteer to go whip somebody's ass.
I was thinking her or Jill. I think Jill would be like, I could fight her, and also I feel safe enough under these controlled conditions.
But also just look at Jill and look
Mm-hmm.
at Yui.
Uh-huh.
Now look at Jill. Now look at Yui.
Is this an Old Spice commercial?
Who's gonna whip whose ass? Like, I feel like Yui could take Jill, no problem.
That's fair.
So, like, if it's up to a vote, like, okay, who do we think has the best chance of killing Hag? And they just look at Yui, just like staring at them with like intensity, and it's just melting their entire confidence.
Okay, it can be Yui. Um, so first of all, they need to build like the whole like wherever they're gonna trap her. I assume some room on the boat
Oh,
that they're gonna
yeah.
figure out how to like lock and reinforce.
Bobble says, wouldn't both Nia and Elodie make the traps because Elodie knows what they look like and Nia has the paint?
Ah, good call.
You know, they might come to the boat and she's in the middle of drawing a dick.
Ooh, and they're like, yeah, we could use your paint to draw the symbol.
Would you mind drawing a symbol before you finish drawing that dick?
No, no, no. Lodi would take the paint from her and be like, can I use this? Thanks.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that it gets drawn right, because Elodie's just like, I want to make sure this is perfect and works.
And Nia's just like, what's your name? And she's like, Elodie. And she just writes Elodie's name on the dick for taking her paint.
She would ask first. Okay. So, I mean, boats usually have like a captain's quarter or something that's pretty well enforced. They can like lock a door and shit
Mm-hmm.
to trap the hag in there. Um, so that's where they could probably do it. So they find Nia there, they take her paint, they draw the trap. Yui is going to be the one to go set it off, and I feel like the one who sets it off should actually like doesn't make it out the door in time before Hag just grabs her and drags her back in.
Probably. But
Just knocks her down, grabs her
I
by the leg, pulls her back.
I want her just to pound the shit out of the hag. Like there's gonna be a lot of hissing and screaming in there, but you know, she puts up a good fight.
She does. Somebody could go in there to try to help her and also just fail. Like Felix.
Or Jill just comes in with a gun, like it should have been me.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you take another one of my rookies.
We could do that. It could be Yui's the bait and puts up a fight, and while she's fighting, they're just like, we gotta let her go, we gotta shut the door, and Jill's like, no!
Yeah.
And goes in there, but they're just like, no, we should definitely shut the door. So we lose both Yui and Jill to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at least it sounds like they fought the good fight.
They did. No, tries. She didn't succeed. She tries to save Yui.
Yeah.
All right. So Hag's trapped into this captain's quarters of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Felix, Elodie.
Jake.
That's right. I was like, I'm missing somebody here. Jake and Nia. Do we want to kill anybody else before we go off to Ace, or do we want to go ahead and check in on Ace?
Let's have Ace be our finale. Like
Okay.
the very end.
The post-credit scene.
Yes.
Okay. That can be the deciding factor of if the hag has a sequel or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if she gets him, she's still out there.
So how is Elodie gonna put her down?
I don't know if she does.
Maybe she lights her on fire so that her she can't have anything etched in her skin if she doesn't have any.
Ooh. Like breaks the window and tries to like,
Or just lights the boat on fire
yeah.
and everybody leaves the boat. And they stay in a very close area, making sure they don't set off any traps so she doesn't like escape that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would ride into the sunset. Wobble wants Ace and Hag to get married.
Ship it. So Felix, Elodie, Jake, and Nia can all make it out. They just burn
Yes.
the boat down and hope that does the job.
Yep.
All right, let me Nia and Felix. All right. So this is the final call. Does Ace make it? Let me pull up a random number real quick. All right, a D4. I'm ready.
Number 1.
He lives!
Yes! Ace stumbles the fuck out of there.
Ace manages to somehow, out of sheer confidence,
Walks out of the
finds a
swamp.
road. Finds a road and hitchhikes his way to the nearest town. And is just like telling them the whole story of like, you'll never fucking believe it. I was gambling the other night. I was losing. But, I had a big comeback and they didn't like that. And the next thing I know, I was being thrown down into a ravine. And I wake up. And there's 26 other people around me. We're all shackled. I'm like, hey, is this a dominatrix kind of a thing? I'm into it. I didn't even have to pay, which was the best part. And that person is very glad when they finally get to town to be like, oh, here you go. Here's your stop.
Yeah.
Right? Thanks, bye.
Get out of my car. Wobble says, I'm starting to think Dino isn't even picking a number, just saying he lives.
No, I've had it on my screen the whole time. You can fact check. All right.
All right.
You want to do the running recap?
Yes. So everybody ends up waking up chained in the shack in the basement. And the hag comes down there and does her little thing. And Ash just looks at him and goes, bite me. So she does. So Nancy has like thin enough hands and wrists that she was able to pull out and tries to take off, but the hag is like right fucking there. So she goes ahead and just rips Nancy's heart out and then goes upstairs because, she just needed a snack, just like eating the heart on the way up. So Cheryl also has very thin wrists and hands, but she's smart enough to wait for the hag to leave first. So she gets her hands out and is like, okay, we need to get out. And Ace is like, can you get a bobby pin? And she was like, sure. So she's like, maybe it's on this dead bitch. Takes out one of the bobby pins from Nancy's hair and then follows Ace's instructions, gets everybody unlocked by order of priority. So, Jill and Leon and Tap and Bill all get out first because they're armed. And then finally they get around to Dwight, who is terrified, runs out of the basement, straight outside and hits a trap. So they hear the follow the and then they're like, oh shit, somebody died. So they run upstairs and there's just like a little puddle of blood and another symbol. And Elodie's like, hey, I think that symbol is probably what's causing her to show up. Let's throw a rock at it. So they do. They throw a rock at it, but it doesn't do anything. And Yunjin's just like, oops, and shoves Quentin. Nobody even saw him there, but he got pushed in. The hag comes out and rips his heart out, which made a bunch of people scatter. But the people that are armed are like firing into him, whether Quentin's still alive or not. He might still be writhing on the ground, but it doesn't matter because they're all shooting into him. And then they all stand in a little half circle around and they're like, don't forget to double tap. So all 4 of them double tap her at the same time. And then Jill's like, all right, rookie, go check and see if she's dead. And Leon does, but the hag isn't dead, which causes a couple other people to start running and they start all taking off. Now the group of people that took off before, which was Meg, Claudette, Fung, and Zarina, they all run into traps and they die.
It was
Yunjin,
Meg. It was Meg, Kate, and Ace that were the first group to run.
yeah, but they made it a little farther. Yunjin decides to take Jeff as her little trap jockey and is like hitting on him to try and get him to stay with her. And so she's making him walk in front of her, and he triggers a trap, and Hagatha pops up and gets him. Meanwhile, Yunjin tries to go a different way and walks into another trap. So as all the screaming is going on, David's like, I want to go kill this bitch because he tried to jump on her before and she vanished. So he just landed on Quentin's body or whatever. And he starts finding some dicks because Nia also left. So he sees this trap with a dick on it and is like, she's fucking challenging me. She's making fun of me. So he stomps on the trap and she just eviscerates him. Also in the group of people that ran is Lori, who decided to run back into the downstairs, but she has to pee. So she goes outside very carefully and goes to pee, but she slips on her own pee, hits her head, and Hagatha kills her. So she has the embarrassing bathroom death. Kate has been running away this whole time, looking over her shoulder, not looking ahead, and steps on a trap and dies. Meanwhile, the big group is coming together and really, getting their stride. They've got all the people with guns are up front. They gave Leon stuff to Yui, and Jake is checking for traps. Jill found out that she could put her flashlight onto traps and burn them away, so she's just kind of doing a sweeping motion back and forth. Meanwhile, Elodie and Felix and Adam and Cheryl and Jane are all in the back talking about how they can kill her, but they're walking in a long line because that's how you walk, and they were not prepared to be sweeping for that long of a line, so Jane ends up getting clipped by a trap and dies. Now, all the people with guns immediately swing around. Everybody gets out of the way but Cheryl because she's already seen some shit, and she gets hit because while Yui looks badass with a gun, it looks like she should definitely be able to use it. Yui's not used to using a gun, and she accidentally shoots Cheryl. So the group's like, fuck, we gotta leave. And Bill's like watching to see if she gets up. After they shot her, she does get up, so he decides to stand and fight and buy the others time to get away. Meanwhile, Steve, who had been running, finds a bunch of dicks. And these are like these glowing dicks of pure hope. So he starts following these dicks. And he finds Nia. And he's just talking her ear off. And Nia's getting really pissed off. They're not really paying enough attention. Steve sets off a trap. Nia sprays the hag in the face with her spray paint and takes off. But Steve still dies. So back at the main group, they're like, okay, everybody needs to work together to look for these traps since we're losing people. Adam does his absolute best, but he isn't great at looking for traps because he hasn't been in charge of it, and he misses one and he dies. Tap holds up the rear and goes down fighting, making sure that no one else dies in this encounter. So they all decide that they're going to go to the boat. Nia has already gone to the boat and is in the middle of drawing a dick when they get there. And Elodie's like, hey, can I borrow that spray paint? And Nia didn't even have a chance to answer. Elodie just took it. So Nia put a dick on it and named it Elodie. Anyway, so they go ahead and they decide they're going to paint a trap in the captain's quarters to trap the hag in there. And they need somebody to go in and stand in there and set off the trap. And it's between Yui and Jill, but my god, if you look at Yui, she looks like she'd be able to slap a bitch's head off. So they're like, alright, Yui, you've got this. Which Jill was not happy about. So Yui goes in there and she hits the trap, but she doesn't get out in time. But she's fighting the hag with everything she's got. Jill runs in, like, I'm not gonna lose another rookie, and is like firing, and then they're like, we have to shut this fucking door. And they manage to shut the door, so Yui and Jill are just in there fighting. They don't make it, but they need to light this boat on fire. So they do. They light the whole fucking boat on fire. Meanwhile, Ace has been wandering around the swamp. He's actually very lost, but he is confident that he knows where he's going. And as it turns out, he is lucky enough to know exactly where the fuck he's going. He finds a road and he has no further problems the entire time he is there in the swamp. And our survivors are Ace, Felix, Elodie, Jake, and Nia.
Really like this system of just leaving Ace's luck up
Yeah,
to dice rolls.
yeah.
It's pretty fun.
It's very appropriate for Ace.
It is. I like it. Well done.
All right, so let's go to see who's up next.
Yeah. I had yours before. I think the doctor is next if we go in order. And he does have lore and a map.
Okay. So we'll do the doctor, Mr. Herman Carter, next.
Yes.